People ask me, what do you have against these structured approaches of selling? The most popular being spin selling. And I flip the question back to them. I go, have you ever tried a structured approach to talking to people? And they kind of roll their eyes, and most of them haven't. And anyone who has knows that you can be structured, but the person who you're talking to isn't structured because they haven't taken the training on how to buy from someone who spin sells you. Now, don't get me wrong. Spin is great as 4 classifications of questions and a linear process of going through those questions. The problem becomes very quickly is that after you go through situation questions and problem questions, there's this big gap. Implication questions are great, but in the complex sale, you really don't get to the need payoff until the second or third meeting. So it doesn't really fit. So use the structured approaches as a way of learning great questions, especially spin. Great 4 ways of asking very separate types of questions. Very powerful. But you're not going to sell anything with spin selling because you have multiple meetings and you can't go through all 4 types of questions in one meeting unless you're doing a simple sale, which spin selling isn't for. And it all comes back to my main point of, people who do research on selling don't know how to sell because they have never sold. They've watched people sell. Jane Goodall studied monkeys for 30 years, but any one monkey knows a whole lot more than Jane Goodall will ever know about being a monkey. Or you can study riding a bicycle for 20 years, but it doesn't mean you know how to ride a bicycle until you get your butt in that seat and start pedaling and fall down a bunch of times. That's how you learn how to ride a bicycle. So take it for what it's worth. But there's a lot more to selling than just a bunch of questions. You've got to have a process, a strategy. You've got to understand what customers need to do to actually complete a transaction.